Okay, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Extra Time podcast. Today I am joined by my stepdad, Will. How you doing? You all okay?
Sound you?
Yeah, not too bad. Still can't believe really how we've managed to get to the final.
No, it's just been one of them, ain't it, really? It's like, well, the whole nation's been like, what are we doing?
Yeah, from game one, everyone's just they've nailed Southgate, absolutely nailed the bloke.
Yeah.
And again, he's had the easy route, he has.
Yeah,
But
massively.
is there really an easy? Well, there is an easier route, but there's no easy route in this tournament.
No. Every team that gets to these this state, to these finals and that, they've had to get there on merit, haven't they? Really, they've had to beat teams. They've had to work to even get to the group stage. You've had to work.
Nowadays, you look at these teams like you Georgias and your Slovenias. They're all playing in the Premier League in English football. They're not playing in their leagues and stuff like that. They're all good players still, and they're hard to play against. A lot of these teams, they're tough because they have a different style, don't they? They don't get out sometimes to play football. They just want to strangle the game for 90 minutes and try and nick something out of it.
Yeah, it's like you just said though. It's like obviously like from years ago. You get like Slovakia players like that.
Yeah,
they only play in them leagues, so they only used to kicking the crap out of each other basically. Nothing really. You get like the odd player that would turn up. You know what I mean? You think, oh, hang on, he's got a bit of something about him, but when you've got like 10 donkeys at the back of your head, I'm getting rolled over 4-5-0. Like you've just said, I'm starting to branch more into European football, playing in top leagues and whatever, getting coached by better coaches, playing with better players. It's inevitable that these teams are actually going to get better.
Of course, and I just still though, like you say, from the group games, and I think the expression I've heard that I love is we're all wondering or telling Southgate how to play checkers, and he's out here playing chess.
Well, at the end of the day, if we knew better than him, we'd be managing.
Of course we would. And again, it comes to that thing of everybody can be a manager in the pub and sit there and tell you who should be starting. We all said, it's so simple what to do, drop Belly and Foden, that whatever, and saying where to play these players. But again, he's in a Euro finals. He's been in he's been manager in 2 Euros, hasn't
he? Yeah.
And he's in the final of both of them, which is how many England managers have done that? I know we've got, as we say, the golden sort of generation coming through, the best players in the world, that sort of stuff. But he's still done it. There's managers out there that have had great players that we'll get into later. Like you've seen a lot more than me. Obviously, you're a few years older, and you've seen players like Shearer, I see Lineker, Owen.
Little bits of Lineker, really. I've caught the tail end of Lineker. I mean, it's like. It's one of them, really. The game's evolved as well.
Yeah, massively different.
It's like, of course it is. Very rarely now do you see the type of player like Lineker. I suppose the player that we could really like relate to Lineker as such is probably Haaland, really, in a way.
Yeah, I didn't really see Lineker.
Nah, it's just because like he seems to score them goals from inside that 12-yard box, if you like. You know what I mean? But he's always in the right place at the right time to like. You can say Haaland's goals, some of them tappings. It's like anybody would score that. But he's getting there in the box at the right time to score these
Harry
type of
Kane
goals.
Wouldn't score those goals. He's too busy having a chat on the halfway line. So
this is it, isn't it? You know what I mean? He's trying to link play and whatever, and he's just too busy watching the passer. He's just hit 50 yards, and he's like, oh yeah, that's
you said that to me the other day, and I agree with that. He does look knackered though. He looks like he makes a great pass, and then he thinks, "There's no way I'm getting."
Everyone in that team looks knackered.
Yeah, they do.
Bellingham looks knackered. He's had a massive season this season.
They have. They've played a lot of
minutes. A lot of minutes.
As much as we're talking about like how great it is having all these players playing for like the top clubs in Europe, they play more games.
Of course they do.
They play a lot more games. Like you say, Bellingham, he's played like he's almost playing twice a week, isn't he? Bellingham,
probably 3 times really.
It's not 3.
Yeah.
Harry Kane's played pretty much twice a week.
Yeah.
Declan Rice played. They got decent level in the thing. Obviously, Kyle Walker. They're all Champions League or Europa League players. The only player really is Pickford, and he ain't got to run very far, obviously. But
nah, only when he's running to like have a shout at somebody. You know
mate, I love him. I love the bloke. The photo
just trying to run just trying to get on a picture of Van Dijk as well, really. You know what I mean?
I think, honestly, we'll come on to obviously our next category in a minute, but Pickford for me, like, he's so different in an Everton shirt to an England top, but he isn't in a way of passion. He's got passion. He's got that much passion for the game. You can tell he loves it. You probably know as well, there's been players like, do you remember Asso Okoto? Tottenham. He turned around and said, "I hate football." He said, "I just play to get the money." He just want the money.
To be fair, mate, he's more like me. Like Monday 9 to 5, really. I
Yeah.
just do the exact same thing.
Same
Nobody
sort,
wants
but
to go and do what they have to do.
But
do
he
they?
loves it, doesn't he, Pickford?
Yeah.
He means everything he
Yeah,
does in all the
does, yeah.
games. Right, so we're moving on to our next segment, and we're looking at our all-time England 11s. Obviously, we're going to have massively different opinions here. Will's like 59, so he's seen a lot more. He's seen a lot more than me, whereas I'm basing it on a lot more current stuff. The other thing for me is I've kind of got it on an individual Euros. I haven't gone on an overall player that's like their Premier League performances and stuff. I've gone on how much I rate them for when they've played for England. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I've kind of done the same.
yeah, so obviously, like a player that you always say to me, John Barnes, he
Yeah.
struggled in England, topped anybody, he was unbelievable for Liverpool.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
like, for me, it would be the player that's in that England shirt doing it.
Yeah.
We'll start off with your goalkeeper. We've both kind of gone 4-3-3. Mine kind of has two strikers, and one's kind of playing on the wing.
Yeah.
But we'll go with it anyway. Yeah. It's your keeper.
I've gone for Seaman.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, like, he was number one for England, Euros, World Cups, everything for like a long time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't really see a lot of Seaman, but
No.
I have heard that he was quality. And I like when you obviously listen to a lot of players and when they talk online.
Yeah, he was just always dependable, like, you know what I mean? He got caught out a couple of times. I mean, obviously, you probably remember, or you've seen on YouTube or whatever, that free kick from Ronaldinho. Yeah, he just loves him, and you're like, what's he
Do you think that's a shot?
You know what? With Ronald, if it was anybody else apart from Ronaldinho,
Yeah,
I'd have said, "What's he done there? That's a cross. He's just missed it."
Yeah.
But if you've watched Ronaldinho play,
he
has the audacity to do anything and try anything. So I mean, when I was watching it, I remember watching the actual game and waiting there thinking, "Oh God, what's going on here?" Like sort of thing. And you could see Seaman edging off his thingy, but I ain't a keeper, so it don't mean nothing to me. You know what I mean? I'm just watching there as a fan.
You couldn't be a keeper. I mean, I'm 5'8" and you're like 5'3", so
I couldn't be a keeper in 5-a-side goals, to be fair. But it's when you see it going, you're like, that's a cross eyes, what a fluke and whatever. And then you see it afterwards, and you think, no, I actually think he's proper hit that. Seaman's like distraught, going, what have I been doing here? But when just like distraught at the telly, just thinking, what's going on?
The reason I think my goalkeeper gets in ahead of him personally is because every England goalkeeper I've ever watched has always made a mistake that everybody remembers in their mind.
Yeah.
So you Joe Hart, was it Iceland? He had a shocker when we got knocked out. He was a stinker. Is it Rob Green?
Yeah.
David James. They've all had absolute stinkers.
Mate, you could pick a catalogue of David James to be fair.
But you know Pickford?
Yeah.
I can't remember at the top of my head a massive mistake he's made where that goal stuck in my head. I'm not saying he hasn't. I'm sure there's been goals where he's not been great for what's happened.
Yeah.
But there's not been a certain goal. And I'm not saying that makes him the best keeper because he's not had an unlucky moment. But again, he's consistent. And
no.
I love him, so I have put Pickford in there.
No, it's great. He's a good keeper in that. For me, it's his decision making sometimes. It's like...
Yeah. I think he just gets caught up in the moment, though. He's just too bothered about cracking like a canister off his head, rather than
I was just about to say he's a little bit hot-headed, really. And it's like, if somebody breaks between the lines of like defence and goalkeeper, half the time you're expecting like a Neuer, he'd come straight out and he's clearing that ball. And then you look at Pickford and he's like, he's coming, no he ain't coming. Yeah, he's coming, no he ain't coming. And then by the time he's made his mind up, you think, this is late. This is either a yellow card. He's took him out all. I'm going to round him and just slot it into an empty net. And I think he's got away with a few times like that.
Yeah, he probably has.
So, I agree with you. He's a decent keeper. Like.
So back four, I know I did kind of see earlier. So we did put these together quite well. I put mine together quite quick. So if I miss anyone out, it could be a stinker. But at right back, I didn't actually see who you had first. But I saw that you wanted to mention this bloke, but we could talk about him now anyway. It's Kyle Walker.
Yeah.
Outside of this tournament, I think Kyle Walker, for me, has just been one of England's best players that I've seen because he played against Mbappe and he kept him pretty quiet. Do you know what I mean? And we went out to that game because we missed a penalty. Again, I know he's rapid and strong, which gets you out of situations. But this tournament, it hasn't for him. You can tell he's getting towards the end of it now.
The other thing is as well is it's like I don't think in this tournament every England player can say they've had their best tournament.
I don't think there's a single England player that can,
you know what I mean?
All the lads who've only obviously had their first tournament. I don't think anybody's going to turn around and say, I played amazing.
I'm looking at what they've done in club form, and like we said previously, there's a lot of players in there, and big players who've had long seasons, so they're looking knackered, like sort of thing.
Yeah,
but
they are.
yeah, that comes into it because teams like Spain and everybody, they've got players in there who've had long seasons as well. So it's like,
Yeah,
how do we look after them? But I don't know. I think we just look a little bit leggy. So I can't say that any of our players have had outstanding
no, they
tournaments,
haven't
like
at
sort
all.
of thing.
No.
But previously, in an England top, Walker hadn't let anybody down.
No, he hadn't.
You know what I mean? He's been phenomenal, really. In
Yeah.
this modern game, like I think he's
I have
one
seen
of
a
our
tractor
best.
turn faster than he did for was it the Slovakia goal though?
Oh yeah,
He's done a 5-point turn to get out that
Yeah.
box, and I'm just thinking like, it come from his positioning. He wouldn't have had
Yeah.
to make that turn
No, definitely
or
not.
play that player on side if he'd have been in the right position to start.
It might be aware as well. Like I mean, like you just mentioned, he's kept Mbappe quiet. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
when
he
you're
did.
playing against top players, you're more switched on.
Yeah.
Is there like a little bit of like, he's just thinking, he's ain't that bad. I've got the pace here to get back at him.
Yeah.
And then he's gone wondering a little bit and thinking, oh Christ, I am going to struggle to get back at him here. Is it just a little bit of like complacency creeping in? I don't know.
Yeah, possibly.
It's
Anyway,
them, really.
let's move on to yours.
I've gone Gary Neville.
Okay. Now I'm going to give you my argument against Gary Neville once you said this. I'll let you say your point, but I'm going to give my argument now.
Go on then. You carry on. Yeah.
Okay. For me, only reason I think Gary Neville makes it into so many teams is because of how much of a personality he was for a club. I don't think his ability was that good. Like, for me, I always come back to this, but Graham Dorrans ended Gary Neville's career. Graham Dorrans
he made him look stupid.
made him look silly. He turned around after he finished the season, he turned around and said, I'm retiring after that.
But Neville had got to be what, 33, 34?
I caught him at his end, the end of his career. But when I saw him, and I've heard it quite a bit from like people say, Gary Neville was never a great player, but he was consistent. And every game he played, he was always a 7 out of 10, etc., etc. But I just think like he's put in there because he played in the best Man United team. I know you've got to be good to play in that Man United team. You don't get in that team for no reason.
No. I've actually gone on on England. You know what I mean? And
yeah, of course, yeah.
It's like
I think
for England, I don't really. He ain't really put a foot wrong. Nothing special. No. Just did what he got to do. If the ball's coming through, just put it out for a foul.
See, when I first remember, it was more like Glenn Johnson at right back. So I don't really remember him too much for England. Do you know what I mean? It was like, but yeah. No, I get it.
I get what you're saying about personality, like sort of thing. But at United, I think you're starting to see now that Neville's personality is coming through on camera because he's a pundit.
Yeah.
When you've got players like Ince, Keane, Beckham.
Yeah, I guess so. It takes
in a United dressing room, Neville's personality wore ever that big.
No.
When he went to England, he wore ever big there really either. But he was just consistent all the while. And I suppose in the teams, when I've watched England, he's provided that balance as well, really.
No, I get that.
So I've gone for him just because he's never really ever put a foot wrong.
Fair enough. Well, yeah, like I say, that would be my argument. But
player.
Okay. We'll do both centre halves together just because I think one of them we probably might both have. We both got John Terry in.
I haven't got.
You haven't got John Terry. So for me, John Terry, obviously captain, whatever. He was just there wasn't. I don't know. I just loved him as centre half. I thought he was a good centre half. Again, I did see him through probably the middle towards the end of his career, John Terry, and he's a scumbag because he went to Villa. But apart from that, I thought he was a top centre half. Most people in football and outside of football that watch it say John Terry's one of the top centre halves, so it's kind of based off that.
A great player, like, you know what I mean? It's just I caught Tony Adams as well, and for me, I've got him in mind as.
So you've got Tony Adams over Terry. So I didn't.
But the reason I got Tony Adams was because, kind of like a John Terry.
Yeah.
John Terry was probably one of the last old school defenders you'll probably ever really see. He was hard in the tackle. He could bring the ball out. He could do what he could.
Mate, have you not seen Carl Bartley play football?
I have, but at the latter end of his career. But I don't know. Adam just seemed to be composed when he got the ball. You know, like he'd make a last chtackle, and then he just seemed to just bring the ball out.
So hard to argue with you. So hard to argue with because I haven't seen him. But I'm trying. I am really trying to like pick things, folks, to put my players in rather than yours. But my other centre half. Now this is the one that I really struggled with the centre halves. England never had great centre halves, realistically. For me.
There's been a few.
I've heard like Ferdinand, etc. But Ferdinand was just, I don't know. I just didn't go for him. For me, a tournament that I saw this bloke play at centre half, Harry Maguire, was unbelievable. And now this is going to get slated. I can already see it straight away. Don't quit your day job, whatever. Leave it in the comments. That's fine. But Harry Maguire, honestly, the tournament he had when we got to Croatia. For a centre half, I thought, and every time he's really put an England top on, apart from one game, I think he got sent off. He's never ever
No,
put a foot
definitely,
wrong, and he's
definitely not.
so crucial in their box to
Yeah.
score goals. He's so dangerous.
We
and
have
we've
missed him. We have missed him
We've
in
missed
this
that.
tournament.
Don't get me wrong, Phil Foden wouldn't have beat the first man to get it on his head anyway, because his free kicks have been horrendous.
Yeah, they have.
But when Trippier's took them, we've created something. There was one against Netherlands. He whipped it, Rice put it back across.
Yeah,
Kane wasn't anywhere to be seen. But yeah, and that's why I have actually put Maguire in that team.
You know what? I was actually thinking Maguire myself. I was actually thinking Ferdinand as well.
Yeah.
But I've gone Sol Campbell.
Was he not just really heavy and slow though?
He was, but he was.
Then again, I've just put Maguire in, so I'm really much of an argument there.
But like, he was a great defender. Probably underrated. You know what I mean? For me,
played for Arsenal.
Played for Spurs.
Tottenham as well.
Yeah, played for
Did he
Spurs
go from Tottenham to Arsenal?
Yeah.
I bet that went down well.
Oh yeah, like a lead balloon, mate.
Back it on the seesaw.
Mate, I think he had death threats and everything. Calling him Judas, everything. I think that was all outside his house and everything at one point. I don't think it really helped that he went on a free transfer as well. You know what I mean?
Just fancied it.
Yeah, just end the contract. That's it. Went to Arsenal.
That's never a positive.
And he was superb for Arsenal. But
better at Arsenal than Tottenham.
Yeah, just because of what they've won.
Would he have played at the back with Ledley King then? Campbell, or would King have been a bit like?
No, I think they had a couple of seasons together. I don't know.
I'm sure I had match attacks with Ledley King, and I never really watched him. He just looked like he'd absolutely smash through a wall. Ledley King.
Now what a great defender he was.
Yeah.
How you can just play for a team, Premier League football, play international level as well.
Yeah. Was he good at England? Was he?
He was all right, but his knees was knackered, so he only needs to change about 2 times a week. What a job that is, mate! Get me here, I'll do it.
2 days a week. You would last one day.
In the cup for 4 days though. That'd be happy days, that would, and then just rock up and have a 90-minute game, and then crack on and
sounding it. Fair play. We'll move on to left back then, so we can get it moving. So obviously we need to keep going. I think we should probably both have the same left back. Cole. Yeah. There's no argument there. There's not really that much to say.
For me, there had been a
Arsenal fans hate him because of how amazing he was for them, and they went to Chelsea, and he was just even better there as well.
What a great player!
Yeah, unreal.
And for England, never really
nearly as good as Connor Townsend. I will just nip Cole in there, but that's just because you know what I mean. I didn't want to put too many Albion players in.
That's it then.
But yeah, right. 3 central midfielders. We should definitely have at least one the same.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Moroga one. Not Moroga? That's not Moroga. Isn't a word, is it? Moroga one. Bellingham. No, I've only put Bellingham in because the goal he scored in the 90th minute. Just for that, he deserves almost a knighthood. I spoke about it on the last one. We said his knackers have got to be the size of King Kong to do something like that.
Yeah.
The thing is, 9 times out of 10, actually no, I'd say 99 times out of 100, you are literally going to try and bring it down, take a touch, and then have the shot in that minute of the game. And he's going, you know what? Who else but
you
me?
Probably wouldn't even have a shot. You'd have probably took that down and laid it off for somebody else because you got your back to goal, ain't you, really?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's crazy. But you ain't got Bellingham in there.
No.
I'm going to name all 3 of mine. You can just say if you agree.
Yeah.
So I've got Gerrard in there. Gerrard as well. So when I was young, I loved Liverpool.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think I've told you this before, but I used to love Liverpool. I hate them now. I don't know why I've just got this thing against them now, but Gerrard was one of them players that I think he was offered massive money. Was it to go to? It might have been United or it might have been abroad. I'm not sure. Was it Chelsea? He was to go and win stuff as well.
Yeah.
Go and win stuff, and he just didn't go. And I do respect that, but as well in an England top again, I kind of caught the later years of him and the slip, and you remember it. Yeah. It's crazy because if a player has 8 out of 10 games, nobody remembers it. If a player has 1 out of 10 game or makes one massive mistake, everyone remembers it, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Literally everybody.
It's because it's on a big scale, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
So you get, like you say, you can have a goal like Bellingham to be watched, and it will be watched for tournaments to come. That'll be in the build-up. ITV got the rights to it at the minute and just blasting it out all over the place. But like one slip like that, it gets played at the final game of every season. You'll see it if there's going to be a 3-pointer.
Yeah,
there,
it's always
going to be there. And if it's going to be Liverpool, it's going to be
on it as well. Oh man, to be fair, he scored some great goals.
Yeah. He was great in an England top as well. He'd take the time and he'd go for stuff like that. So that's why he's in mind.
Right, so we'll move on to the next midfielder that I had. I said I'll say it.
Yeah.
Have you got Lampard in yours as well?
No, I had I had a couple there because obviously
Yeah.
watching a lot of England through the years. I've got a lot of players in there, and
Yeah.
it was just I couldn't quite put Lampard in there.
For you, obviously in today's game, there's no way Lampard's goal isn't given. Do you know what I mean? It's obviously straight away. I mean, we've had probably 2 freak incidents. That one and then the Villa when they stayed up, he was laying his neck with the ball, and somehow that's not given. But each to their own. If that goal's given, do England still go out of that game?
No. The game changes.
I agree.
The game changes.
But it was 4-1 anyway, or was it 4? Was it 4-1? It was 4-1, wasn't it?
Oh, I can't remember now, mate. To be honest, oh no, we lost that. I remember watching it, and I was in the pub.
I was.
I mean, there, and he's like, "What? What's going on here?" You know, like when you've got these VAR moments there, and you don't know what's happening.
I've never heard so many un-okay words said. In one sentence. I was only about 8 and I learned a full new vocabulary.
If I was in the pub with you, that'd probably be all my words, to be fair. But it's just one of them. It was like, we just didn't understand what was going on. I mean, like, you've got VAR now, and he's like, he's got to go over there, he's got to check, he's got to this, that, the other. We knew what was going on because you're being told this. We had no
some
VAR.
Of the VARs, though, it winds me up when they don't tell you that there's no check or whatever. It's like, I mean, we got away with one Saturday a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll have a little chat about that, actually, just in the middle of this, with the penalties, we've gone on to it. For me, in today's game, by the letter of the law, it's a penalty.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's not a penalty.
Yeah.
So this is the grey area of the game. This is why football, like you all know yourself, is built on opinions. No matter how many robotics you bring into the game, no matter what you do, unless you can physically write out every situation that could physically happen, which is impossible to do.
You can't then do that, and it's down to interpretation of the rules, and by each individual ref or VAR or whatever it is. And opinions are like ourselves. We've all got one, haven't we? You know what I mean? Whether they're right or wrong or whatever. But
I think it was a Bangla who brought it up. He said, "At what point do you bring in common sense?"
Yeah.
Can you? I don't know if you can, because common sense doesn't go by the letter of the law. Because common sense says that's not a penalty.
But common sense is different to you as what it is to me.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
If I'm looking at like Connor, who was on the last episode, has no common sense, whereas we do. So it's like his opinion's completely wrong every time. Whatever he says, his opinion's just wrong. So, so instead of Lampard and Bellingham, you've gone...
I've gone Gaza.
Yeah, I didn't see him. Obviously, that goal that he scored.
When he scored that goal, that was 96, that was.
So there we go. Obviously, I'm born in 2002. You was like just after the Second War, weren't you? So it was, you would have had the time to see that goal.
I'm Gaza's dad.
I love the story about when he kicks the ball over the fence. He goes, "I'll fetch it." Comes back the next day in the same clothes with the ball and goes, "I've got it, lads." You
know, before that, just touching on that, like, mind you, I think we're going to touch on it a little bit later. But like for me, like Gaza was just one of them players where, when I was growing up, you didn't look at a player who was like solid. You looked at a player who could do something.
Did you remind you of Bellingham? Yeah. In the England team, he has got that ability.
The only thing with Bellingham for me is Bellingham's got the right people around him.
Yeah,
and he's keeping his feet on the ground. Not saying that Gaza didn't, but.
Yeah, it's different.
As a bottle of pop.
You've got to think though. I know we're only talking like 20 years ago or so. Well, a bit more than that. But social media wasn't around as much then. No. So it's like you say, you can't get away with anything. There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, then but it's like when you're looking at Gaza and when he went to the '90 World Cup.
Yeah.
So I watched a couple of documentaries on it and whatever because I vaguely remember the '90 World Cup. You know what I mean? I remember us obviously getting there, and I remember that game. But I can't remember anything else of the tournament.
When was you born?
84, I was born.
Oh, right, okay. So
I would have been about 6 when this World Cup.
I bet it wasn't far off 2008 then, when the Lampard goal went in.
Mm.
So which would have been about when I was about 6 as well. So I remember it vaguely. It's one of them, you have like vivid memories of certain things happening, don't you? But it's hard to like base a player when you can't. So I think there I get why you've put him in, but if you haven't seen him for that long, I don't know if you're
like. He was at 96. Yeah, and we was going to touch on this a little bit later. But obviously, when I didn't get to see 96. I wish I did do. But it's just one of them. It's like when you start getting swept away, because don't forget, in year 96, every game was played in England, so you get swept along with everything.
Yeah,
I'm a kid. I've just gone up to secondary school, so football's your life.
What, at the age of 6?
Now in '96.
Oh, in '96.
So I'd have been like 12. I'd have been 12 then. So like
Okay,
football's your life. You're watching
course it
every
is,
game.
yeah.
I was around my mates. We get his dad. Say, you lot got to eat that easy. You've got flat screen tellies now. We was
Yeah.
getting his dad to fetch his telly out of his living room so we could watch it outside. And I mean, one of them big things where you need like a bloody sack truck to fetch it out there. You know what I mean? His dad, bless him, fetching this thing out just so we could watch it. And he was like, Dad, the sun's on the screen and everything. His dad's fetching umbrellas over out the garden and everything just so we could watch it.
Oh, the joys of the 1800s.
Well, this is it. I'm surprised you had to wind the telly up as we went along like. But no, we seen all of that as well. And obviously it was in the paper where he was getting Blotto and he was getting off the rails and he was taking Sheringham, McManaman, everybody with him. And then when he pops up this goal against Scotland, bang,
it's just unreal.
Absolutely changed. But the way he plays football is exactly the way Bellingham plays. He just plays.
Yeah, that's what I meant. He plays
in the playground. He just wants to play for the love of the game.
Yeah, and you haven't watched it, but the TV series Ted Lasso. So in that, one of the players is a bloke based off Roy Keane.
Okay.
And he takes one of the players to like this five-a-side thing, and he gets battered by the lads playing there, and they're like, he's like, why have you brought me here to Batman? He's like, no, to remember that football's a game, and it's what you love and you enjoy, not to get paid for.
Yeah.
And that's why like certain players that do have that in them, they like Bellingham obviously from round us, he wasn't brought with a lot of money, and you find them kind of players. Very rare you'll hear a player, world-class player, turn around and go, when I was younger, I went private school, I had all this money, I did what I wanted. It's always that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the final front three. Obviously, you've got Gazza in there. So who's your final midfielder?
So, Beckham.
Yeah. Beckham's a tough one for people my age. I think it's such a split decision between, because he's like, you see him as a celebrity.
Yeah.
You forget how good he is at football.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm even thinking now, should I have gone Beckham?
Yeah.
But
you heard about you heard me say Jake Livermore earlier, didn't you, mate? And then you thought.
Yeah, I was really close to putting him in, to be fair, and then I was like, I don't know if I could. But for me, being in the pub, watching all these tournaments again, and then you're there, you're having a few down here and whatever.
Yeah.
You think you're going to go out, and then he pops up with like a free kick.
Yeah, is it against Greece?
Yeah. It's just, he's always seemed to, when I seen him when he got sent off against Argentina, straight away, everybody is going, what's he doing?
Yeah.
What is he done that for? No need to do it whatsoever.
Was the red though, was it?
No, he caught Simeone and he just stuck his leg out. Simeone's gone over like he's just been shot. He's playing on the ref. The ref's right there as well. We're just thinking, what an idiot.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Papers on him, slander straight away. And then it pops up with a couple of goals when we've needed them, or even a couple of assists to just get us back onto level terms, or to even provide a winner for somebody like a Shearer to score or whoever. I don't know, he always just seemed to be...
didn't he? Yeah. It was just... There was always something missing for me with Beckham. Just, he never really gave me that... I don't know. Right, you could say that. A bit like Trent. Like, he's got so much ability, but there's just so much missing to his game for me. And I just... He just didn't really do it for me in that sense.
It's playing for club level, until he went to Madrid, really. I don't really think he was a great club player. You know what I mean? When he's playing in that United team and winning the treble and whatever, I ain't saying they couldn't have done it without him. No. But I think they could have found somebody to fill the gap as well and still probably done what they've done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that.
When I'm seeing it, because obviously we're talking about like our England 11, when I've seen him pop up for England a few times, it's like he seems to have been there at the right place at the right time to either provide an assist or to get like a goal just to get us through.
I completely get it.
There's players there that like I could have put in, like Lampard, I ain't put him in.
Well, the lad I'm about to tell you now that I played on the wing, that I've put on the wing, he's a player that has been slated through his whole career, no matter where he's played.
Yeah.
I don't think he's actually failed at any club he's been at. Maybe the club he's at now, he's really struggling at the moment, but he's almost in a sinking. Wow, I say a sinking ship. They've done okay, but like a team that's just been impossible to have a standout player in. And I got Raheem Sterling at right wing. This man, for me, not just in England top, I know that's where we've based it, but for Man City, stuff like that, everyone spoke about how many chances he missed.
Yeah.
He scored double figures every season.
Mm.
You can afford to miss that many chances when you're in the right position that many times.
Yeah.
A positioning and the way he moves through a winger. At one point, I genuinely believed behind Messi, he was the best right winger in the world. Behind Messi, that was an opinion I had because I loved him. I loved watching his game. He was an absolute tit. He was. If the ball, if he got knocked over, whatever, and moaning, he was a bit of a tit. But he was just superb for me.
I think with Sterling now, I think that move to Chelsea, has ruined him basically.
I think it was always on its way to happen though, because it just
He don't seem to fit into Chelsea.
He wasn't going to fit in at City. It was one of them. City moved Cole Palmer on.
Yeah.
And look at the season he's had. So they're going to move players like Sterling on. They had a bit of a rebrand, didn't they, a couple of seasons ago, City. I think Pep knew that Haaland was going to be his next signing. He started building that squad ready for him. So that's where I think
that's clever management, though.
Yeah, of course, but then again, that's what he's paid to do, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's crazy, but yeah. My final two in the front three, and then you can go for yours. I've got Kane in there. I think it's one of them, man. Like I said this about this tournament as well. Ollie Watkins has just gone and done that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
A finish that nobody thought it was going to happen.
No.
Kane wouldn't have scored that goal. He wouldn't have been there.
He wouldn't have been in the position anyway, would he? The ball wouldn't have even come into the box like that because he wouldn't have been there for starters.
But I still wouldn't drop him just because of the player he is, the aura he's got, the things you know he can do. If he turns it on in that final and he has the best game Kane could possibly have, there will be nobody that's able to touch him.
Yeah.
That's for me. For Watkins, if Watkins has the best game he's ever had, he could still be took out the game or still not even touch Harry Kane's top levels.
I think it's a bit of a point though as well, really, where Kane's never ever going to get dropped anyway.
No, of course.
So we're never ever going to find out the answer to that question.
No,
to be honest, it's like
really. But then when we've got a tactical genius behind the scene, you know what I mean?
Steve Holland's doing a great job. He really is. You know what I mean? Did you see it? Southgate's there going off celebrating and whatever. No. First of all, Steve Holland's coming over again. Hang on, let's get the subs on. Let's start to look after the
Southgate's clicked on. He's gone.
I know what he's clicked on.
I'm just going to tickle all your bums for a little bit, for a few weeks. Just let you think we're going to lose.
You might be sitting there for the catalogue looking for his next fucking way.
No, mate, I'm telling you, he's a mastermind, and he's gone. I know how to win this game. Ollie Watkins will throw you on then if I have to. Another winner, shock. I mean, he's superb. But again, Kane, England's all-time goal scorer as well. It's hard to leave him out. He can be left out, but it's hard to. And the final one I've got, he's a striker, but we'll put him in left wing, I guess. But he's playing up front for me. I've got Rooney.
Yeah.
Just because, well, he kind of speaks for himself. A player that, again, you don't get these days.
No.
Rough, ready, will score any type of goal you want him to. Almost one of the best, if not the best strikers to ever play in the Premier League. Done everything you need him to do. To say, like, you look at him again now and you remember him and, like, you look at him, don't you? Like, for a 44-year-old bloke.
He looks like he's 4 times the size of me now, really.
I've never
seen a bloke blow up so much in all my life.
So old in the space of a year.
That's what I mean.
I genuinely think if he keeps going at that rate, he's going to look like he's in the grave at the age of about 47.
He looks like he's halfway between Alan Brazil and... I don't know, like Dave who does the bins or something, you know what I mean? He's one of them blokes.
Isn't he younger than Ronaldo? Or like a year older than Ronaldo or something stupid like that?
Yeah, it's just, how can you look at Ronaldo and then look at Rooney, you know what I mean? And say there's, for argument's sake, we'll say there's 2 years.
But Rooney does have something Ronaldo doesn't. Rooney loves sleeping
Gladys his number.
He loves sleeping with RIPs. You know what I mean? He gets that pension in off the RIP. He loves it.
What do you think he's gone to Plymouth for?
By the way, he's the worst manager I've ever seen. He needs to give up on that. He's horrendous.
He'll get worse than that. Don't worry about
terrible. That. I don't know who's employing him. You've got to be at some serious worry to employ him.
That's one of them signings there where it's just
they just want to put some money in the club, don't they? They want to sell some tickets.
Like we just said, absolute great player. Yeah. So you'll find that like players like Rooney will just get jobs just because it's Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. I mean, Lampard did it. How did he get the Chelsea job and stuff like that in the end? Like, and
you know what?
He didn't last very long, did he?
No, but he's kind of a Chelsea brand, wasn't he? Really, you know, when he was at Chelsea, he was like not the poster boy like sort of thing, but he was always well spoken. Well, he was club captain for a little bit and whatever.
Rooney's record at clubs, he's done quite well. Obviously, got sacked at Derby, then took Blues from promotion to relegation, and
I don't know maybe does he?
he's super late. He's awful.
I have got him in my England.
You have got him in as well. So
again, just touching on the Gaza thing as well, he's
Yeah.
another player that's come through, plays the
Yeah.
game like it's just a knockabout in the park.
have
It's
you
just-
heard? You definitely have heard it. But the he's talking about, is it Turam, the French bloke, and
Yeah.
he goes, he told me like he was going to like something like I'm rubbish, I'm too young or something, and then he megs him or something like that,
Oh,
or he
I don't
megs
think-
Zidane or something like that, and something like, oh, he scored at the young age. It's something like that. I'm sure he did. And I might be on
I
about the
remember
wrong
when he
player
come-
here, but
I remember when he come through at Everton, really,
Yeah.
and he just seemed to just turn on the ball and he just hits it, and he's like, "What's this lad doing here?" And
Yeah.
he just goes running off, and then that was his celebration. Then for the next 15 years, you know what I mean? It was just he still played the game, but
He's
when he
ruined his
started at
goal.
Everton,
he's ruined his goal in his cast now. The overhead kick.
Yeah.
Is that better? Okay, we'll go. Is that the best goal the Premier League's ever seen, including the moment who they was playing against, stuff like that?
it's definitely up there.
You think?
Definitely. I mean, like one unbelievable technique.
Oh, it's
Two, if you look at that bloke who's on the telly there,
Yeah,
you're thinking, no way, is that same bloke? He can't get up there if he jumps standing, let alone if he's got to try and get through on his back.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, the
It's
moment
got
and
there.
being in a derby and whatever has got
Yeah.
a lot to give for it. It is a great
Cracking,
goal.
yeah. It is such a good goal, and people going come off his shin. I couldn't care less. It's still unbelievable.
Could have
Yeah.
swung his taters. That's just gone in. You know what I mean? It's still unbelievable technique.
It is. So the last two then, so you've got no Kane, got no Sterling.
No.
So I'm going to take a guess. No, you wouldn't put McManaman in there. You wouldn't put Hargreaves in there. I'm going to have a shout then. I reckon you've got Shearer.
Yeah.
Yeah? So again, we'll talk about that quickly then. So Shearer,
What a forward.
just before me. Just before I watched football, really.
Yeah.
He was just I was a bit too late for him.
People can draw comparisons between Kane and Shearer.
Yeah.
Games completely different. They have different kinds of games as
Yeah,
well.
of
You know what I
course,
mean?
yeah.
Obviously, like Kane, his goal scoring's out of this world. Shearer, though, for me, is one of them old-fashioned centre forwards. He's where everybody's been screaming this tournament, going, "What's Kane doing there? What's he doing this deep for and whatever?"
Yeah.
That is Kane's game. Wherever Kane's been at Spurs, that play on a counter
do
attack.
that for Bayern. I've watched him a few times season.
No.
For me, I don't think he's done it. But
But he still don't bother centre halves. He don't occupy them really.
nah,
He always seems to get the ball on a half turn.
yeah,
Sane and whoever have already ran into
Yeah.
them, drawn players out, and he seems to find the space and then hits it.
yeah,
Shearer could literally have a defender on his back and he'd be holding the ball up and he'd be waiting for our England team or even Newcastle or when he was at Blackburn for players to come and join him.
I get that.
And
So
then,
what
or
you
he'd just turn and just hit it in the thingy. Then he'd score an header. Then he'd score a left foot.
so what
Right.
you're trying to tell me is
He
he was a better forward and he was nearly as good as Andy Carroll.
Oh, I don't know about that. Might have been. Andy Carroll's up there. He is up there.
Well, when the overhead kick he scored was nearly as good as Rooney. Do you remember that? You know Hennessy that season.
I think I actually seen it hit the net, and I was like, I still can't believe he even tried it. What's he done that?
You know Hennessy that season.
Yeah.
He had 5 goal of the months against him, and they were all unbelievable strikes. I kid you not, he had like 5 goal of the months against him. Every time he played, someone just smashed one from like 80 yards past him. Your last one then has to be between Owen. Is he a winger or a striker?
Striker.
Okay, so
I've gone Owen.
Oh, it is Owen. There we go. Yeah.
He just, when he first come
Ballon
on,
d'Or winner.
he's just, as soon as he got that ball,
Yeah.
pace, as soon as he started
Until he
running.
got injured.
Yeah.
And then he went very top heavy, didn't he? Changed his
Yeah,
game.
oh yeah, yeah.
completely.
But like you'll find that with like some players who are playing the game today, like you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
no, of course you do.
And
It's
relying on
tough,
and
isn't it?
attributing, you know what I mean. As soon as Owen got that injury, he was completely knackered. But
Yeah.
up until then,
Yeah.
as soon as he got that ball, again, because we're basing this on playing for England and whatever,
No,
you can imagine
yeah.
watching these tournaments. We might go and give the ball to Owen. Just give him the ball and let him run at it. And he just used to. And every time he even start running as a defender, you see defenders crap themselves, and you're thinking, this is a goal here. This is a goal. He just had electrifying pace. He knew where the net was. And at a young age as well, again, like how Rooney was as well, just war frightened. Just war frightened to go and have a run at some of the best defenders in the world. When you're playing against like France when they won the World Cup, phenomenal teams and stuff like that. I ain't saying he really bothered him. I don't think he scored. We might not have even played it. I don't know. But when he's running at players like that, he still was scared to run at him. You know what I mean? It was like he's just running against his mate or somebody in training. These are like top defenders, and he was like running at him, not scared.
One thing in my head, it was an unreal career, and then his career in punditry as well. It's superb. I love listening to him when he
even better pundit than player.
Yeah, him. If I could choose like a panel, I'd have a Luco on there, Ennio Luca. I'd have Michael Owen on there. Obviously, he needs to just mention. Obviously, you can't win if you don't score.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So as long as he mentions that, so we can get that back in our heads.
Can we put Connor and me on there as well? Like, just really top it off, all four of us.
If Connor was in there as well, that's almost as bad as the Holocaust then. That is like the worst panel I've ever heard in my life. At that point, it's like, you may as well just let Russia bomb us now, because we don't need to live anymore. You sit the best you can see. But yeah, so there we go, there's our teams. We've gone in quite in depth in that, to be fair. I didn't expect us to go that in depth, but it was good. It was nice to hear again about like some of the older players, the way they play compared to now. So I didn't see them all. But yeah, if you would have changed any of them, drop it in, just let us know. Because there's going to be players favoured over it, all players we've missed.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, I'll put players in there, obviously, like based on opinion and how they play for England, but a lot of people watch games differently to what I do, so if there's any comments or whatever.
Lovely. So we've got one more little segment, then we've got our career paths and our £5 bet that we have every week. So we're just going to have a little chat a little bit about the Euros, your favourite Euros you've seen. It's pointless. We was going to do our top three Euros, but like I say, born in 2002, can't remember too many of them. So it would kind of just be the last 3 Euros, because I don't remember that many of them. So it's hard to say, really. But we're just going to talk about Will's top 3 moments that he can remember, that he sat there and just thought like his head was blown, or he remembers that moment from just watching it on the TV. What would you put in third place?
Nothing so specific about this one, but just the 2004 World Cup. Just Euros,
yeah.
Just because my first one really, where I was proper in a pub.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was just atmosphere, just quality. You just remember all these little things.
Yeah.
Nothing really specific about a game. Just because we was there in the environment, the atmosphere.
Do you think the environment then was a lot better? Like the atmosphere then was a lot better than now? Because I think now you have so many limited places with great atmosphere.
Yeah.
I've been to a few places to watch different games this tournament, and I've probably found 2 that I thought, it was a good atmosphere. We went to Leicester last weekend and we watched the game there, and I thought the atmosphere was rubbish.
Yeah.
It was the only pub you could get in, I know, because of like the thing and that. The atmosphere is still rubbish. Like, you start trying to get singing and stuff like that, and just nobody really
interested.
Nobody wants to go, and I just don't get it.
I think I don't know. It's like, I think nowadays people are either bouncing off the walls, want to try and get an atmosphere going, or they're quite reserved because they think if something's gonna happen. You know what I mean? I think people are worried about trouble starting or stuff like that. Whereas like years ago, I ain't saying that we just used to stay around, but obviously like playing football and whatever, I could go in like quite a few pubs and I'd know somebody in there.
But pubs are losing their trade on their suits.
So like more like you can go into like places them like fan zones almost, you know what I mean? And you can get all different kinds of people. I think people are a bit more reserved just because I'm worried about if there's going to be any trouble and stuff. Really,
I agree with that. So that tournament, second place. What have you give it to?
This was hard between second and first. And I'm going to have to give it Gazza's goal against Scotland.
Gazza's goal. We've talked about that, but it
just, for him to actually do that, England versus Scotland has already got that massive, massive rivalry about it, to even just try it. I mean,
especially such a good team like Scotland, they do so well every time they're in a tournament.
Yeah.
I just think they're so good. Honestly, I have no idea where we've ever beat them or where we've ever got further than them. It's like just always in Scotland's shadow. But okay, I get that one as well.
And then just picked it just because of the consistency, but Zidane.
Zidane.
In Euro 2000.
Just his whole performance.
The whole tournament.
That wasn't his headbutt though, was it? Was that World Cup or was that Euros?
I think that was World Cup.
Was it World Cup? Yeah.
But I mean, France '98, Euro 2000, that was Zidane's tournament.
Yeah.
He was every game, just the stuff he does is just unreal.
You know 2002 that.
2000 that was.
2000. Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah.
And he was just in every game, every group game, every game.
If you had to compare Zidane to a modern player now, who would you have compared him to? Maybe they don't have to be as good or so, but like the way he played, like just
the way he played.
Just kind of comparing to him as a player.
The obvious one is probably Bellingham, really, but I don't think
we can't compare every player in the world to Bellingham. Will?
No, that. I'm just saying it's like I think everybody's going to compare Zidane to Bellingham or Bellingham to Zidane, but Zidane had a bit more technique about him. Yeah. He'd have like these deft little touches where he'd just bring other people into play.
Not Foden. I know maybe not this tournament.
I know you don't agree with me on this one and that, but I think Bellingham would be better as a box-to-box midfielder for England. But when you watch him play for Madrid, he's a completely different level. He's a number 10. Whereas Foden has got these little touches. Even like Bernardo Silva has got these little touches. A David Silva would have probably been more like as Zidane.
Yeah, I love David Silva. I love the way.
But you know them little intricate movements, them little touches that he just like balls come in. He's got a defender on him here, just a little slip off him here, and he's gone to somebody else's turn. He's got the ball back. That was Zidane all over. He'd like.
You know who's had a bit of a tournament like that? Maybe not a skill. Well, I mean, you guys know what I'm about to say. I love him, Fabian Ruiz.
Oh yeah, he's had a great tournament.
I think he's just so good. But just the way he's explained it, I thought he was a bit like that. But yeah. But no, super. We're going to move on now to our career path. So, with the last time we're going to do this for England, okay? So, 3 Englishmen all around your kind of era. So, we've got Churchill as one of them and stuff like that, obviously, when he was born, okay?
Yeah.
No. The first one, he started at West Ham. He went on loan to Bournemouth. Not yet. I'm going to see if you can get it in the least amount of teams possible. Got it yet? No?
Not yet.
Okay. Moved to Leeds. Then to United and finished his career at QPR.
Oh, finished at QPR?
Yeah, I thought you were going to get this a lot quicker than that.
Well, I was going to say Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Ferdinand. I don't know he went to QPR.
Finished his career at QPR.
Well, Anton Ferdinand at QPR.
No, Rio went.
Is he?
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Right. He was at United from like 2003 to about 2015 and then did that,
Oh, I don't know. He went to QPR.
Ferdinand, finished his career at QPR. Okay, next one. There's a few more clubs for this one. Okay, so he started off at Southampton, moved to Chelsea, went on loan to Fulham, then went to Man City, went to West Ham on loan, to Sunderland on loan, to Brighton on loan, and finished his career at Reading. It looks like he actually played for City for like 1 season. Got a £13 million move to City in 2008.
Christ.
Definitely a player you'll know. Like, I promise you, when I say it, you'll like. He signed for Chelsea in 2003 for £10 million. Midfielder. No, yeah. I think he's a bit of I don't actually know. I didn't really watch him, I'll be honest. But
what's the clubs again? Sorry.
So I'll go through them again. So Southampton, Chelsea. Come on, make sure you beat him to scream it at home. Southampton, Chelsea, Fulham on loan. Went back to Chelsea off his loan sort of thing for a few years, to be fair. Then moved to City, loan to West Ham, back to City off his loan, but didn't really play for him. Might have got 1 season there. No, didn't even get a season there. Went to Sunderland on loan, back to City, went on loan to Brighton, back to City, finished his career in 2014-15 at Reading. Gonna give up on that one.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Wayne Bridge.
Fucking hell. I don't even know he played for City. I couldn't even remember he played for City.
I don't think he really did, mate, to be honest.
That's what's through me, City.
He's on loan. He was there just loaning out to loads of players.
Hungry shit.
Last one. Mate, this bloke played forever. I've only just realised the dates on it. Okay, he went from Watford to Liverpool, to Villa, to West Ham, to Man City, to Portsmouth, to Bristol. Went without a club for 2 years. Then went to Bournemouth. Then went to Icelandic League, to IBV. This is an Englishman, by the way. Then just decided he fancied a career break. And then played in India for Kerala Blasters and then retired in 2015.
Christ.
I can't believe this was his career. He started in 89 and finished in 2015. It's what it says on here. Whether it's got it wrong, I'm not sure. But this is what it's saying.
He started at Watford.
So he played for 27 years. He must have been in India at the age.
Well, yeah, has he really? He's only played for 20. He had like 5-year break. Yeah, he was a of it.
Yeah, he started at Watford, went to Liverpool in 1993. Hold on, it's saying some weird dates here. Oh, yeah, so 1993. Played there for 7 years. Went to Villa for like a year. Played at West Ham for like a year or two. Went to City for a couple of years. Portsmouth for a few years. I remember him at Portsmouth, 2006, 2007, till 2010, 2011. If I give you the position, you might get it. Goalkeeper. Spoke about him today.
I can't even think.
No idea.
Mine's gone blank.
David James.
Nice.
He played out in India. Right,
I can't remember him having a career break though.
That's what it says on here, yeah, in 2013-14, just fancied a break.
See, now, I wouldn't have got there. He was at
Do those
Watford.
clubs add up for him now? You've
Yeah. Liverpool, Villa, West Ham, Portsmouth, because he was there when they won the FA Cup.
Willie's now at the bottom of the leaderboard for the career paths. You got 1 out of 3. Oh, great, it's showing, but there we go. Super. Moving on to our last little bit now, we're just going to do our £5 bet that we have on it, and we'll put it on for the England game tomorrow, of course. And it's gone. Okay. So we've got it on here now. What are you going to go for? Give me one thing first that you think is going to happen in the England-Spain final tomorrow.
Trippier to get booked.
Trippier booking.
Yeah.
The only problem I see with that, I'll put it on, obviously, we put on whatever the two things like they say, he will play a maximum of 45 minutes, I think. Then Luke Shaw comes on, or he doesn't start at all.
That's enough for Trippier to get booked. He's playing against that Yamal, though.
Yeah, that's a fair point as well. Though
if he turns him inside.
Yeah, I can see that.
Trippier's got to be what, 33, has he? 32, 33?
I don't know.
I think he was 17, was he, today?
Yeah.
I don't fancy his chances.
No. Well, I'm going to go for a Bellingham booking as well, just because I think he's going to be that up for it, like we said earlier, with his passion and that. I think I can see just a soft tackle or losing his head at the referee, something like that, getting booking.
I was going to go Carvalho booking, to be fair, but I think that's just nailed on anyway.
Yeah. They don't even give you odds on that, I don't think. And the next one?
I'm going to go both teams to score.
Yeah, I fancy that as well. I think it's written in the stars, 1-0 Spain, and then England to win it 2-1.
I think we'll go 1 goal up.
I think whoever scores first loses. I'm not even joking.
What though? It wouldn't surprise me, to be fair. But I don't know. I just got a feeling that we've got to try and prove something as well. And I think we're going to come out the blocks and try and go for it. I think that even though in the previous games when we've gone a goal behind, we've actually thought, hang on a minute, we're playing football.
We may as well just kick it in our net off kick off, basically.
And then just get, we're better from coming from behind. But I just don't think we're going to do that. I think this time, we're going to go a goal up.
But with Southgate's tactics, we've got it, because you got to think, he'll bring a sub on about 70th minute, I don't know, Eze or something, and then he'll go, right, Southgate, what do you want me to do? I've got no idea. Tell Bellingham I said hi. You know what I mean? It's anyone, and then he'll just go and do his thing.
The other thing I was thinking for this, I was going to ask you for the odds on for these betting and whatever. It's just when we do win, fingers crossed we do win, but when we do win, Terry is already flown in apparently. And I'm just waiting for him just to elbow
the top as well.
Kane, get out of here, get in the bin, and then play
in the kit, yeah. He did have a Chelsea, didn't he? He didn't even play. Put his kit on, talking about what a blow. My last thing I'm going to put on there, then I'm going to add in. I've got to back my boy to do a bit of stuff. Fabian Ruiz. I've absolutely dreamt about him for the last 3 weeks, so I've got to put him on. Just going to have 2 shots. One of them more than likely to wrap the top of the bins, but I think he has that much of the ball, and he's never, like the last few games, he just ain't been marked. He just runs up, and everyone's like, oh,
I think what it is though is everybody's looking into Spain, and I think Rodri just makes everything tick.
Yeah.
And I think everybody just tries to stop Rodri doing what Rodri does,
Yeah.
because he's the best midfielder in the world
Yes.
in that position.
Tiki tick, he makes Spain tick. And then you've got Ruiz here, has just been left on his own to do whatever he wants to do, and everybody's like, oh Christ, we've got to try and mark him now, he's too late.
Nobody expected this from him though.
No,
because
definitely
nobody really watched. Like,
No.
knew he was a decent player, but like,
Yeah.
didn't realise this standard of what he can do. Everyone's like, oh, Rodri, man, he dictates the game. Yeah, he does, but that just lets Fabian Ruiz do what he wants, and then he's the one. He's actually the one under there, just ticking over for everyone. And then, that comes in at 29-1.
Okay.
So if that comes in, and England do win,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a great night, and good luck for everybody going to work Monday morning.
Well, I might be found in if it does come in.
Well, I mean, I haven't got much choice. I've got to be in, but what state I'm going to be in, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll be there in body.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching this episode. We tried to do a short episode. It was the idea at the start, and then we've just done it probably as long as all the other ones.
Yeah, just rambling on it.
Yeah. If you want to see Will come back on as well, just give it a like. So we probably won't get any likes. Sorry, mate.
No, don't worry about it.
It's alright. You'll get more likes than Connor did. They don't want him back on.
Comedy value, don't they?
Yeah, I've had enough people come up to me just asking if he's got special needs and stuff, because some of his comments were just outrageous. But yeah, there we go. Super. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully catch you again in the future.